tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yes.
Wait for it.
It's gonna
I see the beacon in the sky.
crescendo.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the AfterBuzz TV Gotham, Episode 3, The Balloonman.
Woo!
Man. I'm your host, Ryan Hooks. We are here today to talk about your favorite show and mine, Gotham. To my left, Monse Bolanos.
Hello, everybody. Hi.
Steve Kauffman.
Hello.
Nando in the booth.
Hey, yo, Nando.
Hello. What up?
Look alive, Nando.
We're gonna be using it.
Since we were accused of forgetting Tim Burton, I thought we should throw in Tim Burton here a little.
Agreed.
All that good stuff. So here we are, Episode 3.
Yes.
What'd you think?
I had a lot of fun with this one.
Me too.
One of our YouTube. Thanks, guys. Give me a lot to go on.
Me too, aside from one scene. I told you, when I walked in, I was like, there was one scene that lost me, but I liked it.
The animation.
Yeah, it was, the graphics was so, there was a, should we try to talk about it now?
Throw it out.
Okay, with
there.
the balloon, when Jim Gordon was hanging and trying to save the day, that whole scene where they're just hanging from the balloon and then they fall on top of that car, I was like, no, you lost me for 2 minutes. Gotham.
And I'm back.
That's okay.
And I'm back, yeah. I felt it wasn't believable. And then when they fell, I was like, conveniently fell on
the
top
van?
of the
That's
car.
the same thing I thought. They right on the van.
Right?
All right, so before we get too much into talking about stuff, I want to do the top of the show thing that I like to do. We talk about people that we like.
Yes.
And they comment on our show and hang out and talk to us. Hey, so first off, one of our fans, Lisa Kovitz, works for Xfinity On Demand in New York, and she sent me and has been emailing me information about Gotham. So one of the things that Xfinity On Demand does is they rank shows based on what people watch on demand and on your DVR ratings. Because obviously if you watch the show live or the first couple of days, it hits the national rankings and what the show is rated. But they do a follow-up that's usually 2 weeks behind that shows what the shows are rated based on people's on-demand and or follow-up watching. Which we don't always get those numbers. So this is really cool that you sent me this straight from Comcast. And number one rated show for the week of September 21st through the 27th was Gotham.
Yay!
So look at that. There we are. They beat out a lot. Big Bang was actually number 3, which we had ranked number 1 and number 2.
I think most people watch that show live.
Yes. And then How to Get Away with Murder was actually number 2. So Scandal was number 4, Madam Secretary is number 5, Scorpion, Blacklist, Big Bang, second episode was number 8.
Of course.
So what? No, okay, that's the first week. I'll say this past week's Big Bang episode was actually a new episode then a rerun, but they're still filling the hour block, which is interesting.
Good for them.
Anyway, shout outs, great job Gotham. For all your on-demand people. Thanks for following up because it's on Fridays now as well. And my DVR is actually full on Monday, so I DVR it on Friday and I watch it again. So that's partially me.
Oh.
That's good to know because my Monday DVR is also
there's a lot of craziness on Monday.
Yeah.
So.
Sunday and Monday have a lot.
Yeah.
A lot
and
of
Thursday.
things to watch.
There's a lot of good stuff on Friday now. Amazing Race is on Friday, and The Last Man Standing is back, which I love that show.
Grimm is usually on Friday.
Grimm is
Let's
back.
talk about all of
Let's
TV.
talk about every TV that's not. So I want to also, since last week I started the show off with a correction, I want to start this week's show off with a correction. Last week when we were talking about Selena Kyle, I actually called her Carmen, and it's not. It's Cameron. So I apologize for that. So Cameron Bacondova. You're still adorable. 15.
You are.
She's 15.
Okay.
We found out for sure. Yeah. All right. So some more shout outs to some of our people. Media Tom 2007 and also Patrick Conlon were talking on our YouTube channel about the potential for the Dollmaker and a connection to Arrow.
Yeah, because the Dollmaker's terrifying in Arrow.
Right.
Yes.
Like drove a character
also,
to
thanks
drink
for watching.
on that show.
Well, and also Patrick said a comment about Detective Lance, who interacts with and arrests him early, so we could see a Detective Lance in this series. One thing that I was thinking about, though, and reading these comments, do you think this all could be, in the grand scheme of things, the way that all these networks are doing the shows, a setup for some some sort of Justice League, because with Marvel and their universe and what they've been doing with their movies, they've been setting up this giant Marvel universe that led to Avengers. And they did that movie flow. So is this possibly a setup with having Arrow, and now we're getting the Flash, and now we're getting Gotham, some sort of setup for a Justice League either movie or TV show?
Sure.
I think they're in development for a Justice League movie.
I had heard that before
but
too.
But it's a different canon. It's a similar canon to the Batman Superman, the Man of Steel, and then Batman vs Superman franchise. Yeah. That I think those are completely different canon and universes from the TV universe. But 8 years from now,
to think about with the shows on different networks too, because CW is who carries the other two.
But it's all through Warner Brothers, though.
That's true.
That some people are trying to argue that Starling City, like obviously Arrow and Flash are just incredibly connected.
Right. But clearly, because it's a spinoff and they're using the same actor to play the Flash.
Some people are arguing that because it's also Constantine as well.
Yeah, and that's coming up too.
That Constantine and Gotham are going to exist in the same universe as those two shows. Some people are arguing that. I don't see it. I've heard reports, I didn't see it in any of these Gotham episodes, that there are Queen consolidated logos.
I had somebody posted that on our YouTube as well, that there was an Easter egg in there.
But that could just be because it's the same parent company. They just like Queen Consolidated. Queen Consolidated will live in that universe and just doesn't have to be an Arrow. Not everyone has to come together. Although that would be. I mean, that would be awesome. But
you think of it as a money making standpoint, like why would you not want to lead to that? You know, in terms of fan base and people that like all these different genres, why would you not want to put them all together?
Oh yeah, well,
I think it's pressure.
And Batman's out.
That's right.
If they're all in the same universe, Batman's, he's going to be 10. He's going to be 10 by the time they can put all these plans together. No. Let's not have a bad boy.
He'll be 12.
Although I do want to see Bruce Wayne. I know it'll never happen, but I would love to see him work for the Gotham, whatever the Gotham baseball team is, as a bat boy.
Dun, dun, dun. Jokes all around.
Thank you.
Hey, Ash4358. One thing that they commented on the YouTube feed, also we were talking about Mr. Freeze last week, and he reminded us that Mr. Freeze actually is a scientist and he's trying to save his wife. So could we possibly get a Mr. Freeze as an early day of the love story, or something he's looking for? I'd be down for that. He also wants to see the ventriloquist. Throwing in some other stuff. Hey, and also a couple people said that we either A, go too long, or B, we spend too much time talking about forecasting things and things that don't even make relevance to this episode, which we're doing right now. So thanks for tuning in, bearing with us. Peachan Boy, Greek Sun, Hot Guy 1269. We're gonna talk. We just go. Anyway,
we try to keep this in the area of 45.
Yeah.
Because that's how long the episode was.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people were also talking about how they didn't really feel offered last week or, this week as well. We'll see what happens with this week. I wasn't sure how I felt about him this week again. And my favorite, I think, comment on YouTube was about the Penguin and how we got into the argument about the Penguin and the character of choice and who they picked as the actor. And one thing that somebody commented on is, he could get chubby later. And if people are looking for a short, fat penguin that looks like a penguin, that could still happen.
Totally.
But I still like the character choice now.
I'm not incredibly interested in the Penguin having to be short and fat. Like unless it's the Danny DeVito Penguin who was abandoned as a child and lived among penguins for most of his life. I'm interested in a retelling of this story.
And we bring it back to Tim Burton.
Yeah, and the actor who plays Cobblepot did an interview for like DC Comics or something, and he talked about how he was like, I already had like a set idea because he wasn't. They didn't tell him what he was auditioning for.
Ooh.
He until the night before, his agent called him and was like, by the way, we just found out that this is for this, and he was like, all right, I'm just still gonna do the way I planned it out. And he went in and he's like, for the first time, it worked. That's what he's like. So he's like, I'm not going to.
It must have done something, right?
I wasn't going to change what I had already had in mind, despite not knowing what it was about. So.
Well, and this is a different penguin.
Exactly. I like him.
I do too.
Yeah. Comic book characters, just like any any story gets retold and retold and retold. That you're offered that kind of license to just.
Yeah.
This penguin isn't fat and.
It's not Danny DeVito, like you just said.
Grew up around a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I gotta butt in. I just want to say one thing. Sorry, guys.
Go ahead.
Do you mind if I butt in?
Yes.
I just have to butt in. So hold on. Let me just put myself on the microphone on the thing here.
Got it.
Okay. So what I love about Cobblepot, at least, he lives in the same world where I can see Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Yes.
Because really, there was a lot of controversy when Heath Ledger was originally going to play the Joker as well.
Oh yeah.
And not that there's a weight issue, but there definitely was a how is he playing this guy?
How is he going to be the
character?
Joker? He's by far the best Joker.
Yeah.
I think the best Batman villain character that we've seen.
So So I love the fact that he's reinventing Cobblepot, and who knows, maybe the comics will take notice and like they'll try and reinvent him as well.
Yeah.
Well, not even that story came out a lot again recently with the casting of Batman.
Oh, as Ben Affleck.
As Ben Affleck.
I
And
read
people
a
were
lot
like, remember, keep in mind that the same thing about Heath Ledger, they said that he couldn't play the Joker and how amazing he was, and they said somebody else too, that there was another character that casting choice, a Batman choice, I think.
There might have been some Christian Bale, like early rumblings about Christian Bale.
Earlier than that. Who? Michael Keaton, maybe?
I could see that. I mean, there was no
Michael
internet.
Keaton was always, because he was a comedian first, so he was always
yeah,
a
yeah,
weird,
yeah.
It was like
a
Michael
weird.
Keaton.
He was a weird choice.
Well,
Right.
those were weird movies.
I mean,
Those were weird.
Val
movies,
Kilmer was a weird
just
choice.
In general.
I actually like Val Kilmer.
I like
as
Val
Batman.
Kilmer.
Remember when it made sense that Jack Nicholson was the Joker? Does you remember that?
That still makes
come on.
sense.
and Jim Carrey was the Riddler.
Yeah, and Jim Carrey is the Riddler. Yes, absolutely.
That makes sense in my
So-
world. We're dating ourselves here.
A little bit.
Let's get back on topic here. All right. Again, thanks for everyone for tuning in. Thanks for commenting. Go make sure you rate us on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. Leave comments. We love chatting with you guys. And that's all. Let's move on. So Bruce and Alfred. We talked about people are still not feeling Alfred. So this week we're getting a little bit with them some more. Bruce isn't eating. Studying case files. Watching the news. Reading the paper. Definitely a vigilante in the works. They're even hinting at it in the
Like
TV.
he's straight up learning
Right.
stuff about being a vigilante. Because he killed people, he's also a criminal, and he's therefore ineffective. Where it's like, well, okay, well, Lil Wayne, as I like to call him.
Little Wayne.
Lil Wayne. A friend of mine texted me that just randomly over the week. Like, it was a picture of Bruce Wayne from this show, and then she's just Lil Wayne.
I love it.
I died.
I love everything
I died
about
a little
that.
bit while laughing, but I think he learned something that.
And they even set it up at the very end of the Bruce Wayne, now that the Balloonman is gone, who will defend Gotham?
Right.
They're just like putting it in our face a little bit. But and this week was interesting because we see Bruce, studying case files and looking for clues and trying to be a detective, and we see Alfred almost discouraging him from it. And I'm not sure how I feel about that because
I think Alfred's always the voice of reason.
Yeah.
In Bruce Wayne's life, of just like, yeah, you could make Niagara Falls go up, or you could just live your life. It's like to fix corruption.
how much? Go ahead.
I just think because we're seeing Alfred handle the situation we've never really seen, like Bruce at this age. How do we know that at this point he was trying to keep him on the right path? And then once he hit a certain age, he was like, all right, well, here's Batman.
Well, he's an adult now.
He's an adult.
Here's an interesting thought then to think about is the fact that Alfred is sort of negatively pushing Bruce is actually what maybe pushes him farther.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
In spite of you, Alfred, I'm going to do this, and this is how we're going to proceed.
And his dad left, or Bruce Wayne's dad left a
Instructions.
very clear set of instructions to how to raise Bruce, and that's probably one of them. No psychiatrists, no outside help. Keep him strong. Don't make him a vigilante. I'm sure is on that list.
Listen, don't make my son a vigilante. Not gonna happen. All right, so I think that's pretty much all we saw with sword fighting.
Yeah,
very little bit. They're just reminding us that they're still there. They're reminding us that Bruce is developing into the future Batman and all that's going on. All right, so we get a little Selena Kyle as well. I'm glad she was back this week. I'm sort of disappointed. I felt like last week's episode as Selena Kyle, we didn't get enough of her.
Yeah.
And then I felt like cheated when she was only in this episode for 2 scenes.
Yeah.
I really want more of her.
I feel we're eventually going to get.
I think so. We're going to get more of everything.
But you want more now.
I want more now. I'm selfish.
I feel like there's only 20 minutes worth of stuff on the Selena Kyle they have right now. That if they gave it to us all last week or this week, that then we'd be done.
We're done with Selena Kyle for 5 episodes.
Yeah,
basically. She's
but
gonna
I'd
show
much,
up
I'd much rather see her for 2 to 5 minutes every week for 4 or 5 weeks.
and I think we're getting that with Barbara Keene as well.
Yes.
Like she's
And
like
you must
showing
be
up.
devastated.
Like when I was watching the episode, I was like, finally, when she showed
here.
up, finally. I was excited when she showed up.
Not
Finally.
fully clothed at all in this episode either, so I'm sure you're really
Oh
excited.
yeah.
Yeah.
Brown
He's going to
chicken
go home and watch it
brown.
on Friday.
Yeah, I'm DVRing it already. All right, so we get a little bit of Selena where she is first signed out, and Gordon is saying that she's not coming back right away. So sorry, she's part of a case, which is good that he's actually now standing up for her, defending her, which we were hoping he would. And they go to the crime scene of the Wayne murder. And I like that they're going back and forth because she's like not giving him stuff, but like sort of giving him stuff. And it's almost like, oh yeah, well, work harder.
She said she knew who did it.
Yeah.
but she didn't say.
Well, I don't think she knows his name. Like, apparently she knows his face. She saw his face.
Yeah,
She saw his face.
And she says, if I saw him, I would know.
But she doesn't know who he is.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Which
Doesn't help us at all.
Yeah. No.
Well, if we read the comics, we actually know who he is, but
Well.
I'm not going to give anything away.
And that might not be the case.
It could be totally different in this world too.
Yeah.
That's I enjoy the comments that people make, but one thing that I always think about is this world could be totally different. It doesn't have to be the other comics and the other stories and other things that we are familiar with, because they don't have to follow those rules, really. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, and that's what's exciting about it. That
I'm waiting for the moment though when something happens that
and everyone's gonna hate it.
That is totally different, and I'll probably like that moment, but everyone is gonna flip out about it.
I agree. There has to be that moment.
I can't wait for that.
So whoever killed the Waynes also killed the mother in How I Met Your Mother?
Possibly.
Just that type of outrage?
Man,
That type of
Hey,
outrage.
whoa! Spoiler alert! I haven't seen 7 seasons of that show yet.
I think that was a pretty known thing.
I know.
That was pretty known when it happened.
That it starts off with your mother's dead, but we're doing this and blah blah blah. You guys get me off topic way too hard over here. All right,
Sorry.
so Selena escapes. We're assuming with the pen she stole off of Bullock's desk.
Yes.
That's what we all was like.
Awesome.
We're watching it. I was actually kind of hoping to see her pick the lock, but I like that she threw the handcuffs at him. You're gonna need these.
Yeah.
See you later.
She's so cute. How do you put her?
She's adorable.
She's adorable. How do you chase her? You know?
I mean, it's too late at that point.
Well,
It's too
you're in a
late,
sewer.
obviously.
All right, you're in a sewer and you're stuck.
I'm
All right.
surprised she didn't. I thought I know physical strength, but I thought she was somehow going to move the manhole cover
And close
and
it.
close him in there.
Well, I was thinking the whole time about, she said she threw the wallet in there. How did she throw the wallet in there? Because there's not really holes in a manhole cover.
There were grates.
Were there grates?
There were grates that would fit a wallet.
Yeah.
Not a rich man's wallet that she's stealing. But I guess the people that are down there aren't really that.
Well, yeah.
She didn't even take the credit cards. What kind of person is that?
Someone who just saw a murder and knew she'd be implicated.
A 15-year-old.
And a
A
15-year-old.
13-year-old in the show.
She just wanted a tuna fish sandwich.
Yeah.
That's all. Hey, so moving on and talking about fish, let's talk about Fish Mooney, Falcone, and Friends.
Yes.
See what I did there?
And Friends.
How
I
I
like that.
alliterated that? The Falcone, Fish, and Friends. All right. Poor Laszlo.
I know.
First off, poor
R.I.P.
Laszlo.
R.I.P. Laszlo.
R.I.P.
man.
Laszlo is the new hashtag on Twitter.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Laszlo. Good. I love it.
I mean, he doesn't even have an IMDb picture, so
Well, that's going to change.
yeah, he's gonna be famous now because he's Rip Laszlo. All right, so we get Fish Mooney this week, still up to her old no good tricks, trying to insert herself in a position of power, trying to take over the city, going against Falcone, because she even talks about Nadia,
Right.
so Natalia.
She gave enough names that we forget which one it actually
It was
is.
actually Natalia. I wrote it down.
Okay.
But she said Nadia, something, I don't know, that person with the N. That's his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had her taken
Mugged.
care of.
Yes.
Beat up a little bit in exchange because Laszlo got beat up.
Yeah.
It was almost cute. It was like a moment where she was, hey, I feel bad for getting you hurt, so I'm going to do something to defend you. But I'm also going to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in that same moment. Yeah, can you take
Just
care
take
of Laz?
care- I know.
He brings the mood down.
I knew it was coming, though, too.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I thought
So there goes our thoughts of him being another character.
I know.
Yeah.
The whole thing with the Joker, though, like I've been reading, some people are like crazy predictions, crazy theories of
Yeah.
who the Joker is going to be.
I think
Or not be.
I think
Or
they're just
not.
gonna tease an opening because the Joker, like, there's the one known thing about the whatchamacallit, the comedian, but there are a lot of different origin stories told from the Joker, who's an unreliable narrator. That I want to see Gotham show us as many of those as they can.
But have none of them be the actual
Yeah,
person.
they're just all the various basic stories you'd get for the Joker, and then none of them turn out to be the Joker. Like,
that could be the enraging moment, I think. There's
like
that we
There's
never
your
find
thing.
out. There's never.
that is the 8th time they've told us an origin story of the Joker, and it turned out to not be the Joker.
And then the Joker just shows up as the Joker, like an adult, full-fledged Joker, like ready to rock, face painted.
Like he's just been hiding in Arkham this whole time. No, that wouldn't make any sense.
We're not to Arkham yet, but it's soon. I feel like Arkham is
Soon,
in
yeah.
the works.
seems to be next week.
Yeah, we got Don Maroney this week.
Yes.
Yep.
Dude, shout outs to David Zayas coming back.
I
The city's
know.
like, oh my god, that's the guy from Dexter, David Zayas.
Yep. That's what I thought too.
You know, I just tweeted out a picture of me and him. I went to the Dexter finale thing that they had with all the people from the show, and there was like a panel discussion. like as the season was ending and talking about the last 3 episodes. Anyway, he's a cool guy. I've seen him all around town, so I'm glad he's going to be joining the Gotham cast.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
I like him. He's like relatable.
I was happy he didn't go up in a balloon.
Me too.
Because there was a brief moment in that episode. There's probably a 10-minute block where I was like, he's gonna go up in a balloon. Like he's not as central to this as everyone else who's already been introduced is. Like, he's just gonna go up in a balloon. That's such a waste.
Well, I think at this point now that we've already established that we need him.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be part of the Arkham development that the new Arkham that we're going to get. So that's cool. And also he's interacting with the Penguin.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and I love that little moment where they're like giving tips, talking about
Yeah.
being Italian. Pablo. You love your mom. Take care of her. Here's a couple $100.
Yeah.
He shows up in a new Penguin suit because
Yeah.
of it. So, and we're getting these cool interactions, I think, with people throughout the show and like overlapping of characters, which I love. All right. So we need to talk about the Balloon Man. Then we're talking about going up in the balloon. This is this week's major point, plot, story, title. And the Balloon Man is taking care of the corruption in Gotham.
For better or worse.
For better or worse. I mean, I think that it's kind of cool.
I think in any other context, like if the Balloon Man existed in Arrow wouldn't be going after him. Arrow would be like, yeah, these people are wrong. Like that's what Arrow did for an entire season on the CW, was just kill people who wronged the city, like mercilessly. That it brought up a really good moral conundrum that only Jim Gordon seems, as per the usual, only Jim Gordon. It's like, no. What was the quote I wrote that was awesome?
From the Balloon Man?
No, from Jim Gordon.
Go on.
Everyone has to matter or nobody matters.
Oh yeah,
I wrote that down too.
too.
Oh my gosh, we love Jim Gordon.
I was just looking for it.
That's
Yeah.
just the pure idea of law and order. Like he actually believes in law and order, not taking it into your own hands. And that he doesn't even think the Balloon Man's that wrong. He thinks everyone else is wrong and then created the Balloon Man. And,
And Bruce thinks the Balloon Man's still a criminal.
yeah.
Yep.
We get several targets this week. Ron Danzer.
Yeah.
How would you love to be cast as the woman who gets the body falling on her?
That would be such a
like
great...
you're just like walking out, you're in your dog. She's probably an extra, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to be in the scene and make some extra money?"
Yeah. You're
probably-
gonna die in moments.
You're gonna get smashed, and then they're scooping her off the street with a shovel.
Oh, yeah.
that big snow shovel.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get
dog
some targets.
survives,
Ron Danzer cheated some people out of money, and he got arrested, but he gets clipped and flown away in the very beginning. And we also meet Lieutenant Cranston early on in the beginning,
Yes.
who, with his friend Officer O'Brien, handle the criminals of Gotham. I actually thought at first when they showed the award, I thought it was like, that looks like an Oscar.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I
It's
thought
It's like,
the
did you
same
have an
thing.
Academy Award for?
I think it was an Oscar, but it was just like a cop standing like this.
It was a cop Oscar.
It was a cop Oscar. A Coscar. A Copsker? A Copsker? I'll go with Copsker.
I'm gonna go with Coscar. I'm gonna disagree and go with Coscar.
Coscar. Copsker. You decide. Anyway.
Hashtag Copsker / hashtag Coxer.
Wow.
I don't know. I had to get it in there. I had to make a vulgar joke now and again. Come on,
Well,
guys,
you know.
stay with me. Keep your heads up. All right. I actually really liked the interaction early on with him and Gordon. And he's like, "Oh, you're his new cop. Cool. You're partnered with him. Cool. Hey, so too bad. Stop being so nice."
Yeah.
You know, pretty much just told him like it is, and then he went and beat somebody.
With O'Brien.
With O'Brien.
Sergeant O'Brien is the name of the cop that just beats people. I hope we get more Sergeant O'Brien.
He's gonna
another dirty cop needs to just take it now.
It's gonna be like how in shows where these certain props show up all the time.
Yeah.
Like on Big Brother, there's a squirrel that shows up in all the different sets. They're just gonna start using this Oscar Academy Award cop thing for beating people.
Or at least they will now.
You're welcome.
That's on you, Fox. You are welcome. You better use that, or I'm coming for you.
Okay.
All right. Jim Gordon this week you were talking about his moral dilemma. Do you think that we had growth from Jim?
Yes. Well, I think he's just kind of living in the same moral. Just hey, this is wrong. I feel terrible. I feel terrible about what I've done, but I fought an injustice here. I have to make it clear vigilantes can't be vigilantes in this city.
Well, and here's why I asked. Because in the scene at the end, when Bullock clips the cuff on him and the last balloon goes up, Gordon goes out of his way to save him, essentially, so that he can face justice, not just get killed.
Yeah.
And, in this week, too, we got a little bit going back and forth with the unit finding out with Montoya and Alan talking to Gordon about the fact that he possibly killed Cobblepot, or so they think, and they're fishing for evidence. And I love that Gordon's just like, hey, when you have evidence, come back and see me, and walked off.
Well, because what else can he say there?
Yeah. And he really didn't do it.
Like, hey, I didn't kill him, but I told him to leave town because there's this big corrupt thing. By the way,
My partner told me to do it.
By the way, Mario Pepper didn't kill the Waynes, and I'm secretly trying to figure that case out. And like, he can't tell them all these things.
It's like, have you heard of Falcone? Let me tell you about him.
But I do think Major Crimes is doing a terrible job.
They have nothing better to do?
Like, well, no, I'm saying like their first step is to go talk to James Gordon about it, and then the second step is to go tell his wife, or go tell his girlfriend.
Montoya goes to talk to Barbara. And
like that's the second step. It's, well, why don't you talk to other people who may have been at the pier? Like they said it was at a pier. How many piers are there? You could investigate.
No.
Well, I think what we're learning is Gotham PD in general doesn't investigate because they didn't Google what a weather balloon does.
They had no idea that the weather balloons come back down.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I was like, the weather balloon's going to come down.
That was the one thing in this episode where I was like, but wait, they don't know. And like, I understand that they were working at such a pace, and they initially, like Bullock initially blew off the whole case, so I'm sure there was a lot less. But I'm just like, nobody.
And isn't that logic though?
No.
What goes up must come down.
Exactly. Like that's,
isn't it like a third law of physics or something?
Yeah. Didn't we learn this in like third grade?
I knew the balloon would come down.
I knew the balloon would come down too.
Gordon didn't know. Or didn't think about it. I think Gordon didn't think about it. He was too busy looking for the guy.
Yeah. At least he was looking.
Like he didn't care if the body will eventually come down, I guess.
Well, we find out though that the balloons were stolen from a factory by Carl Smiker, and there was 4 that were stolen. And the guy called in, and he was like, "Hey, I called in. I don't want you guys to think I did this because I knew they were my balloons." And he's like, "Yeah, my partner didn't investigate at all," as we learned that nobody investigates. And they go to find Smiker, and they actually find a guy and arrest him. Bullock gets beat up.
Oh yeah, with a giant tube TV, which led me to believe LEDs have not made it to Gotham yet.
So this is like 1990s Gotham.
Yeah.
But they have cell phones though. There's 2 different things. I guess just LED TVs for whatever reason aren't in Gotham.
In this exact same article that I was reading on DC Comics, they talked about how they have. This was by one of the showrunners. This was a interview with the showrunner, and he's like, "We have this from this time period. We have this from this time period. We have this from this time period. And it's all on purpose to make everyone feel like they can relate."
Oh, okay.
There are certain periods that I don't think anyone is watching Gotham on a tube TV.
Well, yeah, but the computers at the precinct are really old. Like those are really old. Nobody's got a laptop.
But I feel like that's just true of like.
Well,
like if you go to a police station, they have old computers. Yeah, it's like when you go to the library and they have old computers that have like the green writing. Like, really, your computer's like 30 years old. You can't update that.
Well, people gotta go.
But yeah, I can see how that could be a relatable aspect there, where like there are certain things that each area has that makes us feel like we relate to that scene.
I gotta pipe in here too. Actually,
I was like, "Where's that voice coming
from?" I think the computer.
Yes, God.
I think the computers being old in the police precinct is also great because the police is such an old school mentality on the way they deal with things. So even their technology is old school. So I think that really takes. It really shows you how outdated the police department is in general.
And when one of them gets angry and trashes the desk, way more dramatic.
Exactly.
Like NYPD Blue style.
Because there's so many parts in that giant computer.
Like a giant monitor, and then they go and take the tower and then heat the tower.
I just heard his voice come in, and I was like, "Yes, Satan." That's all I can think of in my head.
Dad, is that
you?
you?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chicken Dance. I thought you were somebody else. Anyway.
Hello.
Stay out of this. All right, so... It's interesting, too, then, with this moral dilemma that we're getting in this week, that once the cop was killed, the balloon man mattered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It mattered to Gordon from the beginning, but now it matters to everybody. It's interesting. That's like such an interesting mentality. Like, why is one life worth more than another?
I think it's... Someone called that the blue line, where it's just... Like, cops stick up for each other to a point like, oh, they're killing cops now. Doesn't matter he was a dirty cop. Doesn't matter he may or may not have deserved it. We gotta stick up for our own now.
It's job security.
Yep. That's how Bullock said it. That it was just nope. Now we have to go after this guy.
Do you think that more cops are gonna end up dead?
Yes.
Yes.
More relevant cops that we like? At what point does a good cop kick? Are there any good cops?
Just Gordon.
Just Gordon.
They have yet to introduce another good cop. Maybe Enigma, but we know what's going to happen to Enigma.
We do?
Edward Nygma. We assume we assume that he's going to become a villain. Yes. But
does he tell jokes? No.
I wasn't going to dignify that answer. I wasn't going to dignify that question.
All right, fine. All right. I was excited to see Captain Essen again this week for her brief moment.
Yeah.
Getting grilled by everyone from above, so she's grilling down below. So that's how the chain of command works, right?
Yep.
Like you yell at me, and I yell at you, and then you yell at someone else, and right on another line. Bullock and Gordon are an interesting combination, I think, in the show. And I'm always interested in like analyzing dynamics of characters, and I feel like at some point, is Gordon gonna make a difference in Bullock? Is he gonna like do something that affects Bullock that like makes him make a good choice?
Makes Bullock make a good choice?
Yeah. So like Gordon is gonna keep doing the right thing and keep doing the right thing and keep doing the right thing. Is eventually Bullock gonna do the right thing at some point?
I think the only way Bullock's going to wind up doing any of the right thing is if something happens within his personal.
I was gonna say it has to be a direct connection.
Has to happen to him personally.
Yeah.
Like one of the hookers that he talks to all the time that he must love.
I agree.
Like goes under that all of a sudden now it's personal.
I wasn't gonna say hooker, but I totally agree.
That's the most relevant to this episode. Like
it's true. You're completely right.
Bullock seems to know a lot of hookers in Gotham.
Yeah.
And food.
Well, yeah.
He knows a good food.
This burrito guy.
Yeah.
If this burrito guy goes up in a balloon.
Yeah.
It's on.
Best believe he's gonna find that balloon.
Did you enjoy the part this week where I mean, everyone kind of assumes and everyone kind of knows the whole Montoya Barbara thing, and there's a relationship there when she comes in, where she actually kisses her and says, "You deserve better." I
appreciate they made that very clear, because that was 2 weeks ago. That was something none of us saw or noticed.
If you didn't know that it was going on before,
if you didn't know it from the comics, there was like a subtle undertone that we were more like, they have a history, we have no idea. Where everyone in the comments was like, no, they were together.
Yeah.
My gaydar was going off. This is like one of the comments I read. It's like, I guess I don't have a gaydar.
I have a terrible gaydar, so I wouldn't have helped. But I agree. This time it was like very clear. This is what happened. And not only did they have an affair or have not an affair, not only were they lovers, but drugs were involved.
Yes.
Yes, they had addictions of all kinds.
Yeah. I can't believe she called her out on that. I would have slapped her.
Straight slap him.
I would have. If I was totally. It was just like unnecessary. Not only did you break into my house, I don't care if you have a key. You broke into my house, and now you're accusing me of being a drug addict again? No.
You're getting all crazy over here now.
Ain't nobody got time for that, you know? No.
Everyone has time for that. All right. So we get our third victim, Cardinal Quinn, which was briefly mentioned in passing. Actually, I heard him mention it when the body fell, and then they brought it up again on the news in case people missed it.
Yeah.
But we learned that Davis Lamone is our balloon man. He is one of the Gotham's finest who was trying to do the right thing and has snapped. He didn't bend, he broke.
Yeah.
Like how I brought that back?
Yep. Looks like he was a juvenile delinquent in Gotham, tried to turn his life around and tried to make it better for all the other juvenile delinquents, and just the city got him. Like that second Hangover movie, they were like, Bangkok got him. Like the idea, it's like Gotham got him. Like he's a criminal now.
Eaten up and swallowed alive.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I was reading my notes. I thought you were going to keep talking.
No, sorry.
All right. And it's interesting because he wanted to make a difference. And he was doing this to help people and to help the people of the city and the whatever, but he failed. So is there a boiling point for Jim Gordon? Where
I think so, but it has to, again, be more personal for it to be a boiling point, but there has to be.
Well, if Montoya keeps showing up at his apartment,
that's what I think is going to be the boiling point. I think is going to have to do with Barbara or Montoya.
Well, part of it's going to get dropped because Cobblepot's back. Yeah. So I'm assuming that since we saw at the end of the episode, and we'll talk about Cobblepot here in a second. Barbara was there, so she is going to meet him, which means she's going to know that Montoya is wrong. So if Montoya shows up again, no, I saw him. He's still alive.
And just makes major crimes look even more inept.
Fail at life.
Pretty much, which just doesn't help major crime, because major crime should be like they're on the inside track of what's actually happening, but they're not fixing anything. They're just walking around asking questions.
Look who their sources are, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
What if Barbara doesn't? What if they don't tell her who he really is? What if he goes by his Italian name? You never know. You never know.
Well, no, he said Cobblepot at the door, didn't he?
no.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
He didn't say anything.
We were screaming it. Because we were trying to predict who it would be at the door.
Did you guys? I thought it was that. I thought it was.
Yeah, I think we were all.
I love that he was in the penguin tuxedo.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Like, that
Yeah.
was perfect. And he had his shoes and he was all waddling a little bit. All right. So we didn't really talk about penguins. Let's talk about the penguin, because he is back in Gotham, and he actually starts our episode off with, we see him just standing there on the street corner watching corruption, watching people get mugged, watching cops, watching prostitutes, watching drug deals go down. And it's just showing us the world that Gotham is. It's a good. I feel like that could have been a good scene for the very first episode.
Yeah, and then he looked around and he just went, "I'm home."
Oh, yeah.
I missed this. And he's recognized by somebody's man,
Yeah.
whose name we don't even get. And he's like, "No, I'm a Russian guy. I don't even know who I am."
Yeah.
Kills his first person this week. Not first person totally, but first person this week.
Yeah.
And kills a couple more. I feel like he killed the cook, the dishwasher.
He had to kill that dishwasher.
Yeah. He took his shoes and yeah.
They didn't
That's how
show
he got
it.
the
They
job.
just showed he suddenly had. He just showed up and had the job.
Yeah.
My comment was, never tell a random stranger what shoe size you are. If they ask what shoe size you are, just I don't think that's any of your business.
Big enough to fit in your.
Yeah. No, not even. Just hey, what? Those are nice shoes. What size are those?
It don't matter.
Sorry.
Not your size. They're too big.
Yeah. No. That's not pertinent information to you. I will put my headphones in and take another bus. That's how I handle conflict, guys.
You take a different. You get off the bus and get on the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't handle conflict. That's how I handle conflict. I avoid it at all costs.
Well, we know you are not a future vigilante.
I'm not.
Monse, how about you?
I'm.
No, I would probably answer and I'd be like, "Why do you care?" I would probably instigate a problem. Definitely, I wouldn't walk away from it. I'd be like, "Why do you care? What's this to you?"
Yeah. What, are you stepping?
What-
You coming at me, bro?
You coming at?
Oh, you didn't.
Exactly.
Oh, you didn't. All right,
Exactly, because
let's bring
that's
it
what I
back to
aspire to be.
Says the girl who quoted the YouTube video. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Because it's true.
Everyone got time for that. She actually did a commercial for a dentist office and got her teeth fixed.
Yeah.
And she said everyone got time for that. I saw it was on YouTube. Had a bunch of hits.
She's like, I got time for that.
All right. So back to the penguin. Do you think that the restaurant choice was his choice? Like, it wasn't just
absolutely.
random. It was very planned.
No, that was a premeditated choice. That he wanted to be at that restaurant to meet that guy and overhear those conversations.
Yeah, because he
That's-
makes a comment. Doesn't he say, he's like, "Oh, yeah, it's
I know, understand
really
how big an opportunity
Yes.
this is, and blah blah blah.
for growth and whatnot." Yeah, he totally makes a comment about it.
because he knows that that's where it's all going to happen, and that people are going to show up there, and he's in the right place. I'm excited to see the Don Maroney stuff and how that plays out with Arkham and what that leads to with the war with Fish and Falcone and everyone essentially in a power struggle.
Yeah.
Because Maroney made that comment that he's in charge because everyone believes he's in charge. Doesn't mean he's really in charge.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's in charge because no one else is taking charge.
Right.
Does anyone want to take charge?
I think they're not getting into it yet, but I think the Waynes had something going on that kept everything placated. That now that the Waynes are gone, everything is slowly crumbling, and someone's going to step up and take it, because before then they were kept docile. Maybe that's what I'm gathering, because otherwise there'd be a squabble like this every week.
I kind of got the same thing. And actually, one of the comments was about us presenting the fact that the Waynes were implicated in any kind of corruption or anything like that.
I don't think they were implicated in corruption. I just feel
We sort of implicated them in the corruption.
well,
that maybe wasn't there. That we were just fishing for things and seeing what we could throw under the wall and seeing what stuck.
well,
Cook spaghetti. You ever throw it at the wall and see if it sticks?
That's the only way you know if the spaghetti's good.
Eat it.
Well,
Anyway, so this implication that you're right, and there could be something that they had set up in place that allowed crime to not expand any farther.
like they had money and power.
Right.
That I think they might have had underlings who did handle these things and stayed squeaky clean themselves. That I don't think the Waynes were corrupt themselves, but I think they understood, in order to keep their niche in the city as Gotham elite, they had to keep the criminal element at a certain level. I don't know. I think.
Well, even last week, Falcone said that they were on the same family.
Yeah.
So there's something.
There's something there.
I want to know if they're going to reveal that to us.
They have to. Well, because we got the teaser for next week that everything my parents have built is falling apart. So
right.
We're going to learn something about that next week.
Oh, snap. It's on the way.
We're going to know.
Do we go there now?
Let's go there now.
Wait, I have something that I wanted to talk about. You guys, I loved the scene where they showed Jim Gordon putting on his outfit. His gun, his badge, very Batman. Like, every time we see a Batman, when he first puts on his suit, it's like cut to each part that he puts on. And they did that today in this episode with Jim Gordon as he prepared to leave for the day. Yeah, I loved it. No?
Exciting.
It was exciting.
Yeah. I know it was exciting.
I hate you.
You don't. I think you're cute.
Oh.
Stop checking me out, though. Okay?
I know. I'm going to check out
I mean,
Steve.
I can't blame you. Look how good looking I am.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just going to look this way, man.
I always assumed she would look at that screen and check me out before now.
I'm going to look over here and check you out and see what happens.
Yep.
Okay.
Two handsome men.
Let's stay on track.
You're surrounded in a Monse sandwich here.
I'm not a Monse. No, you guys. I'm not the sandwich.
I'm the bread. You're the filling. What? Says the booth. All right, we're getting all way off track. All right, so in the trailer for next week, we see, because Penguin shows up at the end, and he wants to help Gordon.
Yes.
Do you think that his helping Gordon is really, he's trying to take people out so that it helps him?
Yes. Definitely.
Yes, he needs Gordon's help. Gordon's another pawn, probably more like a rook or a knight in this chessboard that only Oswald can see right now.
So how grand is his plan?
Probably pretty grand. Probably to the checkmate.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he keeps talking
to the checkmate.
The way he talks about it, he must have just a scheme.
But he could be delusional as well.
You're right.
I would love that. If there's no war and like somebody just takes over power silently, no one dies. And Jim's turning a cobblepot. Like, what happened? He's like, I guess I was wrong.
I'm crazy. I'm sorry.
Don't listen to me.
And you know the thing that I want to know more than anything, which I was screaming at the TV and I rewound it twice. You were sitting there watching me as I'm screaming at the TV. In the trailer for next week, we get the scene at their Fish Mooney's club and she's talking to her and she's like, if you want to be a woman in power, who's the freaking woman?
The young. I wrote young pop star because we don't know.
It looked like Selena Gomez at first when I saw her face, but I mean, it's not Catwoman. Obviously, it's not Poison Ivy. I mean, thoughts from the booth? Who that could have been?
I didn't see the episode, so I can't. I thought
you made it mention earlier that you saw this episode.
I saw the first two. I haven't seen this one.
Sorry,
I was busy doing Scorpion with Monse.
Okay. Yeah. Then apologized. all around for all these spoilers.
Ruined. All right, let's talk about predictions though. It's that time.
But yeah, it's definitely that time.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
It reminds me of like an old school spaceship.
Yes,
it does.
Not a ghost.
That sound. The
All
1960s.
Monse, what do you think's gonna happen next week?
I think that Gordon might make a very slight alliance with Cobblepot.
An error in judgment, but slight alliance.
Very, very slight. I think because here's the thing, like Gordon is starting to figure out the way Gotham works. And I think he also knows that he really can't trust anyone. So if Cobblepot's going to show up and tell him all this information, he's going to keep him around for as much as he can. But it also shows that he like gets mad at him and he's like, why did you come back? So I think he's going to trust him for a little bit. But it's all going to go downhill. It's not going to go well for him.
But here is the dilemma. If he's back and people see them together, they're going to question where he's been or anything that happened with him. That could then lead back to him fake killing him, which could lead back to the whole, he was told to do it by his partner and a whole thing with the Waynes and a whole snowball of dilemmas.
Right, but I don't think he necessarily has to go out in public with him. He can definitely meet in private, get all this information. It's going to backfire on him, definitely, for sure. But I'm saying I think at first he's going to try and see what he can get out of him.
After he goes to Montoya and Allen and tells him to suck it.
Yeah. Look at this picture. Selfie of me and
Cobblepot back together. The gang's all here.
Yeah.
Steve?
I think we're going to learn a lot more about how the Waynes played into the power struggle for Gotham or the lack thereof up until their death. I don't think we're going to see Selena Kyle at all next week. I think she's just going to be...
As long as we see Barbara Keane, then fine.
Okay.
I don't want to break your heart too much, but I think... although it would be really cool if the events of next week, like 2 weeks from now, Selena Kyle's like, nope, I was there. You just didn't see me.
Yeah.
I know what's up.
They'll show her if she's seen anything.
I would like them to not. I'd like us to always assume Selena Kyle might be just up there watching.
She's at Wayne Manor inside watching them sword fight, and she's also at Gordon's house watching
at the window.
Montoya and Barbara make out, and
that would be an interesting.
Do you think that could be interesting if she's the one that tells Gordon about all this stuff, like that she keeps showing up at his house?
That would be interesting.
That would be good. Yeah.
Well, I think Barbara's gonna come clean soon. Like, I think at some point Barbara's gonna like, hey, who's Oswald Cobblepot? And he's like, it's that guy.
Yeah.
And it's gonna stop the momentum a second time.
And you could tell when she asked him at the end of the episode, like the realization in her face, like that he could never be that guy that Montoya is saying he could be.
But I think what'll happen is the second time, gonna completely everything Major Crimes is saying still false again. Whatever sends Jim over the brink, he might break a little, and Major Crimes will find out about it and try to tell Barbara, and it'll be a boy who cried wolf. It's like, no, I'm not even gonna ask him about it. That's stupid. And it'll have actually been something bad that Gordon did. That might not happen next week, but over time that should happen.
It's going to boil down. Yeah, I agree with you, Monty, with the fact that there could be some sort of small alliance forming with Cobblepot and Gordon. I want to see that, definitely. And I agree with you also that we're going to see more about the Wayne development and how they played into the Gotham hierarchy and everything that is falling apart. But I also think we're going to see more, again, with the Penguin, his grand scheme. I think that his thoughts are there, that what he knows and what he's going to share, because he's in a position to try to make some moves. Yeah. And I also think that he's going to help the Don do some stuff.
Yes. That is definitely.
Because I know that right now, obviously he has a grudge against Fish and wants to take her out.
Yeah.
Wants to take out Falcone. So the Don is his route to that.
It's going to be a war in the streets.
Oh, it's on. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Get the snaps in. All right, you done? You good? We're good?
I got him.
Okay.
I got him.
Thank you so much for tuning in to our Gotham AfterBuzz TV After Show, episode number 3, The Balloonman. We'll be back next week for episode 4.
Yes. Until
then, tell the people where they can find out more about you fine folk.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Monse Bolanos, MonseBolanos.
You guys can find me at Steve Kauffman. That's Kaufmann. I also do Modern Family in this very room on Wednesdays, and I drop in on Doctor Who from time to time.
Drop it like it's hot. Hey, said we missed Joyce this week. She'll be back next week at Jay Ajori. And you can find me at RyanHooks92 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. That's life. We live it. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Got it.
I don't know where that came from. It just came out of nowhere.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.